Hi everyone, it's me again, your friend in the neighborhood, Showa 60, and I'm here to talk about Choujin Sentai Jetman.
Let's talk Jetman. For starters, we're 3 years into the Heisei era of Japan. Not only that, a young and hot-blooded Inoue Toshiki was given the task to make a Sentai series that would get the audiences hooked. Aiding Inoue was Amemiya Keita, who would later be known for his calligraphy, the Garo series, and Go Raigon, which also stars the actor for Black Condor, Wakamatsu Toshihide. The staff behind this masterpiece would also draw their inspiration for the show from the 1972 anime Science Ninja Team Gatchaman, the Breakfast Club movie from 1985, and the trendy romance soap dramas of the 80s and early 90s. As such, the series would go on to break many traditions of the Super Sentai series and introduce themes that pushed the boundaries of family entertainment in Japan. In the year 1990... sorry. Anyway, an elite global air force known as Skyforce elects Tendo Ryu and Aoi Rie among 5 other operatives for a brand new initiative to handle powerful threats known as Jetman. However, after Ryu was bathed in powerful energy known as burnout waves, an evil interdimensional regime named Vyram declares war on Earth and the Skyforce. In doing so, Vyram destroys the Earthship and the Birdonic wave machine, causing it to give 4 other individuals the power to become Jetman. Now, with the space station destroyed and Rie assumed to be dead, Ryu must set aside his grief and enlist 4 youths to fight against Vyram. The first to be enlisted is Rokume-kan Kaori, who happily accepts. Next is Oishi Raita, who only accepts after Vyram attacks his farm. Hayasaka Ako joins under the condition that she gets paid for her enlistment, only to reconsider her motivations. Lastly is Yuki Gai, who initially refuses to join but ultimately accepts. At first you may or may not like them, but as the series progresses, you start to get to know them, as with their strengths, weaknesses, and motivations. By the time Jetman becomes a complete set of 5, Vyram's 4 generals make themselves known. As such, they challenge the team with the monsters and traps they set in order to wipe them out and take over the universe. A concept like this is simplistic in theory, but the execution is radically different. Jetman is more than just a 24-minute toy commercial. The writers began to prioritize plot and character growth above everything else, and the evidence shows. In fact, the series ended up becoming far more adult than any show under the Super Sentai banner, even for Japanese children's show standards. Inoue and his team have taken some big risks, and its popularity is the result of it. With that, allow me to explain the main cast of Jetman and their stake in the series overall. Tendo Ryu is the main character of the show and the team leader. He was a Skyforce operative chosen to be the Red Hawk. He's very straight-laced and has a fondness for hot milk. His girlfriend, Aoi Rie, was also chosen to be a Jetman but was presumed dead upon Vyram's declaration of war. Rie's death would be the focal point of his character arc and also have a profound impact on his current activities. It would even impair his relationship with other Jetman members, including White Swan's Kaori, who developed feelings for him. Eventually, he overcomes his grief and overall fixation for Rie and becomes an effective leader for his team. His arc ends when he marries Kaori and parts with his friend and fellow teammate Guy. He and Kaori also have a son in the end, but in the Jetman manga, they have a daughter. Rokume-kan Kaori is the White Swan and the first to be enlisted after Ryu. She's the heiress to the illustrious Rokume-kan group, and a skilled kendo master. She joins Jetman to initially curb her boredom, but later realizes the weight of her new status as heroine. She's also at the center of a love triangle between herself, Ryu, and Guy. And while she admires Red Hawk, Black Condor is fixated on her. She ultimately indulges Guy's advances, but the relationship doesn't stick. Her feats include helping Akko overcome her greed, surpassing her own stress after calling off a wedding with her toxic fiancé, and helping Ryu move on from Rie. Otherwise, she's a sweet person, but will not easily be underestimated, not even by her teammates. Oishi Raita is a vegetable farmer from the Japanese countryside. He transforms to the Yellow Owl and is the team muscle. He also has a thing for Kaori, but is willing to accept that he stands little chance with her romantically. He does, however, have the weirdest riz when it comes to his childhood friend and girl from the Stone Ages, who eerily looks a lot like Kaori. He's a nerd through and through, timid yet very courageous when it matters most. In the end, he and his childhood friend get together and run his vegetable farm. Hayasaka Ako is the youngest Jetman of the team at 18 years old. At first, she joins for monetary gain but decides to fight for free. Her time as the Blue Swallow allows her to mature into a woman who understands the importance of nature and the value of a kind heart. She even takes care of one of Vyram's dimension beasts, formed from the trash she dumped. Other feats include saving her close friend from Vyram, aiding Raita with his fear of tomatoes, and helping her upperclassman ramen otaku defeat a monster made of cup noodles. I'm not making this up. Years later, she becomes an idol. Last and most certainly not least regarding the core team is fan favorite Yuki Gai. Brash, self-serving, and quick to oppose authority. He's also a chain-smoking womanizer and skilled saxophone player. He's also the love rival Ryu, whom Kaori has feelings for. Furthermore, his personality overall clashes with him, resulting in intense bouts of one-upmanship between the two. As Black Condor, his fighting abilities and leadership prowess match that of Ryu's, affirming his status as Team Lancer. He eventually dates Kaori after previous strikeouts with her, only for their romance to fizzle out due to polarizing differences in personalities. Regardless, he ends up getting along with his teammates, even cleaning up his act a bit. Sadly, after the climatic battle against Raita, he dies after being stabbed by a purse snatcher he beats up. Let's not forget the Jetman commander, Odagiri Aya. She's responsible for the Jetman initiative and the deployment of the very squad. She's very strict and very bossy, but cares deeply for the team. Living up to her status, she aids the Jetman in battle tactics, providing weapons and armaments for them. While the Jetman wage her war, she's not one to sit on the sidelines, as she is more than capable of entering the battlefield herself. She would grow to become one of my favorite commanders in the franchise, next to Dagi Kruger, Kaito from Dawn Brothers, and Miura. The Vyram generals deserve some credit also for being some of the most interesting villains in Sentai history. We'll start with Raita. To be honest, he is the least likable due to his arrogance. Despite this, he's no pushover, as he has proven to be the most dangerous general of the bunch, creating some of the most dangerous monsters and most brutal tactics to defeat the Jetmen. Even when taking on the human guys, he is ever ruthless, using everyone around him as a means to an end. His feats include bringing the Jetmen to their knees, usurping the Empress of Vyram, and defeating one of his fellow generals without killing him, but rather leaving him mentally scarred and powerless.
Say my name. Say my name. Say my name! Say my name!
Speaking of, we have to talk about Tran. He's the youngest of the generals, proficient in playing deadly pranks and creating equally violent illusions. The biggest problem lies in his age, as he is belittled by not just Jetmen, but also the other generals. Not wanting to take his disrespect sitting down, he ages himself up to become Trenza, a greater threat of a general than even Raita. As Trenza, he proves to be a force to be reckoned with, but after his defeat at Jetman and Raita's hand, he's left alive, stripped of his powers, and admitted to a psych ward with his mind damaged. Next up is Maria. She was presumed dead after Vyram's declaration of war. However, she was reborn as the only female general of their forces. Her tactics mostly target other women, and on top of that, she's a fierce combatant. While she doesn't get along with Raita and Trenza, she ultimately develops a close bond with Gray, despite not really understanding his feelings for her. The biggest part of her time is her internal conflict with her former self as Rie. Ryu has come so close to getting Rie back on several occasions, only for her to go back to being Maria. In the end, she does go back to normal, giving Ryu and the others a fighting chance to win against Raita before she dies. We see her one more time saying goodbye to her ex-boyfriend one last time, wishing him and Kaori a happy life. Lastly, we have Gray. Despite being a machine life form, he's more human than the other generals. His tactics are more direct and lethal, with very little wiggle room for deception. As such, he is far more fair-minded and noble, but all the same a dangerous being. He also has a thing for Maria and does any and everything to ensure her safety and as a result, this creates even more romantic tension. We also get a great rivalry between him and Guy, hence the iconic helmet crack during their final battle. Before that, we do see him pleading with Jetman to save Maria/Rie from Raitage's blood spell. After her death, he takes her to the sea, and after losing to Black Condor, Guy offers Gray one last smoke before his death. Yeah, that's Choujin Sentai Jetman, and what a fucking way to ring in 1991 for Tokusatsu.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
It's what you've come to expect from the genre and so much more. Toei took big risks with this series. The writers were well in their bag, and the drama along with the character arcs will have you calling the fire department because holy shit, the story is too hot. Inoue was cooking something spicy when he led his squad, and the actors were fantastic with what they were given. Wakamatsu's Guy especially was, as I said earlier, such a fan favorite that housewives and moms of the series fan base begged Toei to not put him on a t-shirt. Allegedly. Fun fact, Guy being killed in the end was his actor's idea. That aside, it's no wonder that this was known as the show that saved Super Sentai. To me, it did more than that. It set the bar real high during its time. Not only did it shape the 90s in my opinion, it had a profound influence in Tokusatsu. For example, there's an episode of Zenkaiger where the team recreate the final act in episode 51. For Toku fans across Japan, it broke the internet via Twitter, and Toei released that very episode on their YouTube Tokusatsu channel. This banger is now available in the West on DVD and Tokusatsu, so you should definitely give this a watch.
All things considered, Jetman was a series that I really tried to invest a lot of time in for the longest time, ever since it was brought up in conversation. However, it's been very difficult for me to get into this series, but finally I found the time to do so, and I spent at least 2, 3 to 4 weeks, I believe, almost an entire month watching the series from start to finish for reasons I can't really get into. No, I think it was a little shorter than that. But the point is, I got to watch it from start to finish, and I'm very happy that I did. The writing was just phenomenal. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed the characters. At first, they were kind of an annoyance, but the more I watched Jetman, the more I got to know these characters, the more I got to see a lot of their strong points coupled with some of their weaknesses, and how they managed to overcome a lot of the bad points that they had. Like, I really recommend this series, especially if you're a Sentai fan or fan of soap operas. Well, that's it for now. So I'll be taking a break from Solo Watches for a minute to make room for other content that I'll be making on YouTube. Basically Showa Draws and Wildcard Fighter, which is supposed to be this month. So I'll be working on those for quite a bit. So till next time, this is Showa signing out. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any opinions about Jetman, if you like the series or hate the series, let me know in the comments. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And be sure to tell your friends about me. Well, see you guys later. Mata ne!